Good morning. This is Lynne King Smith, and I'm with, what's your name again? We're in Friday mode here. Amy Johnson. We are coming to you live for our TF Live final webinar of the week. This has been a really fun week to interact. We're getting some great comments back from all of you that are joining our client conference this year remotely via the web. It's great. I happened to be at one of our venues in Phoenix yesterday and saw Lucas down at the Herberger, and he was just finishing up the webinar with Diana Martinez yesterday. He had his TF Live headset. He was all set to go. If you've got comments for us, aside from sending us emails on the conference this week, we would love to hear from you. And we'd also love to have you pop on to our Facebook page as well and hashtag anything TF Live with your comments for this week. But we really appreciate so many of you joining in and making this a really fun and interactive week for us today. It's officially hoodie day at TicketForce. And it's a little chilly here. We woke up to about 42 degrees this morning in the Phoenix area, so we're all have the heaters blowing and the seat heaters on our cars on the way to work this morning because that's about as cold as we like it to get. So a lot of us are wearing, we wear our TicketForce gear on Fridays, and we've doubled up with hoodies today. So wish we could see all of you and see if you're bundled up or enjoying some sunshine in California. But nonetheless, we're going to get right started with our, we've got a double product update for you today. So I'll just give a brief intro, then Amy's going to take charge of the controls and go over with you what some of the newest updates on the current product. So just to review, your current product is our private label ticketing product where you've each got your own installation for your venue, and you're able to be in full control of everything from that product and your web sales. Do not go to a joint website with any of our other clients, but simply to your own website, and you have full admin controls, etc., in your product. The exception to that, Arizona Music Fest. I think Barbie is on the call today. Some of you are clients who do share our sales at TicketForce.com. And so you know who you are if your page is branded for that as well. Same exact functionality, just a little different structure based on pretty much how many tickets you sell in the year, what your specific needs are. So that product is going to continue to be supported and to continue to move ahead in advancement, which you're going to see today from Amy. And the reason I say that is because we have announced earlier this year that we're bringing a new and additional product into the market that we're bringing from Australia and New Zealand, and it's powered by Softtix, and we're calling it our enterprise product. So a lot of you have had questions as to whether the current product or the enterprise product is going to be better for you moving ahead. And that's really something we can only answer on a one-by-one basis, is based on what your needs are and how these products are going to continue to service you over the years. So we're doing that one by one. Please don't feel like if you haven't had a one-on-one demo or call with us that you're missing out on anything. We will get to you, and you can certainly drive that conversation by letting us know that there are some things you want to take a look at. Now, we've got the full product demo for the new product powered by Softtix. We've got already done a webinar on that. It's very intensive. It's about an hour long, and you can watch that anytime or any of the other webinars from this week. All you do is go to youtube.com, and you can type in TicketForce in the search, and you'll get all of our webinars, all of our videos that we've done that'll be there for you to watch at any time. There's also a link there so you can share them with other people in your organization. So if you want the full look and the full gamut of the new product, please go there and take a look. Today, at the second half of the webinar, I will be going over just some of the key features, particularly in some features that maybe are not going to be covered in the current product, so you'll get an idea of maybe how important it would be to you to take a look at the new product. But we're excited also today to start off with Amy giving you a tour of some of the very new features and some of the upcoming in your current product. So I'm going to hand it off to Amy, and off we go. Do you want to mute? I do want to mute, thank you, for now.
All righty. So we're going to see just a quick overview here of a couple of things that we're going to cover today, and then I'm going to hop over to the demo site so we can look at some of these in real time. But again, here's just a quick overview, and then let's go ahead and hop in. To the demo site here. All right. So the first thing was actually just released this week. It's the new Apple Wallet integration. Obviously only available on iOS devices, but it's going to be just among your delivery methods right here in any performance. So it's going to be very similar to your print homes. You're going to have a standard Apple Wallet settings that you can set. It's actually right up here in Access Control. So you can set your overall ticket layout, but then per performance, I'm going to hop in here, it's actually the same settings. So first you'll enable it system-wide, obviously. The logo, just so you can see where it goes, is actually just right here. The strip image is going to be this little header image right here. And then the logo here is going to be what goes onto the lock screen for Apple Wallet. You can also choose the background color as well as the text color, as well as some messaging here. But for those of you with Apple devices, this will look very familiar for things like your airplane tickets and that type of thing. But here's the front and the back of those specific Apple Wallet settings. So again, this is actually available to absolutely everybody currently right now. It was just pushed out this week. So if you have any questions on setting this up, please let us know and we can help you out with that.
I'm actually watching the question panel, so we can be as interactive as you like today, just as if you were in the room with us, raising your hand. So there, please just type a question in your question panel, and we'll be able to see that. I can just nudge you too, whichever way you want. But any questions on the Apple Wallet section?
All right, moving along. Something that is actually farther down on the overview, which I'm not really sure why, because obviously most recently, as you may have noticed, the complete reskin and redesign of the admin pages. A lot of research went into what type of colors were being used for action items, green, red, blue, and it's just a more modern look and feel with the hamburger menus and whatnot. But again, everything was just reskinned, nothing was moved, functionalities weren't changed, just looks a little bit different. There was a lot done with the box office to make it a little more user-friendly as far as your screen size and whatnot.
Hamburger menu?
Yeah, it's a hamburger, that's what it's called.
Because it looks like a hamburger.
Yes.
Is anybody, was that new for anybody but just me? The over 50 crowd just learned something new today. That's fabulous. I didn't know that.
And now we're done. Thank you for joining us today. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the whole new look and feel? I know we did put out a notice, but sometimes that doesn't always hit our consciousness. So some of you were surprised when you logged on a few weeks ago or a month ago to see that your ticketing site looked completely different visually. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that for us? Oh, Valerie actually liked crows better. She said, I think it missed our crows. Meaning crowd, the autocorrect there. Simply email your client rep, and if you don't know who that is, you can email Amy, which is AMI at TicketForce.com. When your contract is signed, we enter everybody into our database CRM so that we can keep you abreast of things. So we tried our best to keep that updated, but if you don't think you're getting those notices, you can also send a note to Kim at TicketForce.com if that's easier. She manages our database for us, and she'll make sure that you're added to the list. So we want to definitely make sure you get on there, Valerie. Thank you.
I am muted. Well, now I'm unmuted. Another recent update would be the streamlined checkout. So if you did not see this in our notices, I'm going to go ahead and just pop on and walk through a sale so we can see that. Go ahead and put some tickets in my cart real quick. And the streamlined checkout, again, since everything is fully responsive, meaning you're not going to lose any sort of functionality or anything like that on any size device for all of your patrons that visit the site. The streamlined checkout goal was definitely going to be a more mobile-friendly purchase. It took what was normally about 4 or 5 clicks to continue throughout pages, put it on one page, and consolidated it into 3 steps. So after I check in, if actually just a side note too, if you have any themes associated with these performances, it's actually right before you check out now and before you get to the checkout page. So any of the theme information will be input, then you'll jump into the checkout. And step 1 is going to be your delivery method. Everything is going to be pretty much the same listed here, but you'll just select the delivery method you'd like to have there. You'll enter in your credit card information. One of the great new features of this credit card, especially since a majority of these folks will hopefully be on their mobile phones, is just for the sake of making sure they enter in the right credit card number. So you'll notice right when I begin typing, that little credit card is red, so it will not let me move forward because I don't have enough numbers in there yet. Once I start typing, though, it does auto discover what type of device I'm using or what kind of card I'm using. One of the notes on the overview too as well, we might as well cover right now, but we are fully in compliance with the new MasterCard updates, which does mean that they also accept the 2 in addition to the 5 that the MasterCards were also starting with.
We know from yesterday those are called bin numbers.
So
if you were on the credit card, well, no, yesterday, Wednesday, if you were on the credit card webinar that we had, we talked a little bit about MasterCard now starting their bin range with the number 2 instead of just the number 5.
Sorry, excuse me. All right. Why is my webcam so big? Okay. All right. So I can go ahead and use this payment. Again, a major advantage of having this patron file is I can have multiple addresses. So if I do need to change my shipping or billing address, in this case billing, I can easily change it right here. But once I enter in everything, I can say use this payment. Any roundup donations that you have implemented will appear here, as well as if you have the heard about us will also be in this step as well. You'll agree to the terms of use and place your order. So as you can imagine on a mobile device, it's very streamlined up and down, becomes very mobile friendly.
You know, a lot of us don't spend a lot of time on the public site, so the new checkout isn't something that maybe some people noticed a lot, unless you hear patrons, and nobody comes up to you really at the box office and says, hey, I really love your checkout. You know, but they will tell you if they've had trouble checking out. They don't usually call you to say, really, really cool web page, you know, that worked really well for me. And so we tend to work more on data than anything, and those of you that have talked with me before about, you know, hey, people are having trouble checking out, or people are having trouble with X, Y, or Z, you know, many times we're relating a phone call or two. So we spend a lot more time in the Google Analytics looking at, and then just web trends and what we know works better for checkout. So we didn't really ask grandma or grandpa or aunt or uncle what they thought. We really just went with data and what the data is showing, and essentially what happened there on that checkout is that you can check out all on one page without kind of scrolling through. And the old method worked really well when it was first designed, because that's the way web pages were built, more like a book. And so it was like you were turning pages and going left to right. But web pages now, with Facebook and Twitter and streams, we tend to like to go top to bottom now. And that's been a real shift, and people don't like to have new pages load. So that was kind of the reason for this, is that the scrolling down and putting everything on one page, we're already seeing higher rates of checkout and less drop-offs on the checkouts as well. Amy, do you want to tell them how they can enable this, or how they know if they have it?
As far as I know, only a handful of folks do have it on, because you do need to let your client services consultant let them know if you'd like to turn it on, and we can turn it on for you. What we'll do first, we'll turn it on your development site first, make sure all your design is still good to go, and then we'll move it over to your live site when you're ready to go.
So there's no cost for that, but it is an optional feature, and it's not going to default and just come on automatically.
Right.
Okay. So please make sure to get with your rep, and that again is a cost-free, pretty quick and easy little step that we have there for you to check and make sure it's okay. Is there any reason why you would tell somebody not to turn this on?
Not really. It's just preference.
Yeah, we just don't want to do it without letting you know, and so we're putting the ball in your court. And this is already on, so if you're Arizona Music Fest or you're one of the clients that sells at tickets.ticketforce.com, this has already been turned on and enabled and working well. So rest assured that's already going for you. If you've got your own system that's something.ticketforce.com, then you do have to let your rep know, and we'll get that going for you.
All right. Something we were definitely very excited about around here in the office was auto reports. It's going to be right down here per performance, and most of you do already use what's called the vendor notification schedules, and previously it was just sending what's called the ticket sales report. But you'll notice now here in this drop-down, I also have the option to send the performance report detailed and the performance report summary to as many email addresses as I'd like and as on many schedules as I'd like. So if I select the report, I would go ahead and enter in the email address I'd like it to go to. And again, this can be multiple, so if I want multiple people to get it, there we go. Your three options for auto scheduling are going to be daily, weekly, and monthly. So if I select daily, I'm just going to go ahead and select what time I'd like it to be sent. If I select weekly, I'll select what days of the week and then what time. And if I select monthly, it's going to be what day of the month that you'd like it to go to. And then obviously with the performance report detailed and summary, you're going to get your typical query options down here, just like if you were in the admin user and running it just the same. And again, you're going to get your same options for your summary report as well.
I was going to ask you if the time zone was based on the venue or is it based on the system, so you'd have to click off of Pacific time?
It's actually based on the, oh, let's see, echo. It's actually based on the venue.
And tell us again how you got to this page, Amy. Where are you at exactly, so we know how to get here?
I am in the performance, so I just clicked manage on the performance I'd like to automate the report in. And then I'm just in that first tab, General Settings, and I'm all the way down at the bottom here. And you just click Add right here. But it'll be in your computer's time zone.
So we call this feature auto reporting because we know what that means. But the technical term in the software is vendor notification schedules.
Yes.
So you might need a little sticky note on your computer to remind you, because if you're looking for send auto reports, you're not going to find it. But the vendor notification schedule, and we're right there in the general settings on a performance.
Correct.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
Are there questions before we go on for the automated reporting section that we just covered? And that, again, you don't have to do anything. That's already there. So you go and look, and you'll see that there and follow those steps that Amy just gave you. Is there any questions?
Sure. We have a question here. Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Can the reports only be sent to users of the system? No, they can actually be sent to as many email addresses you want. So as I added me, Lynn, that type of thing, you'll just click in however many email addresses you want. And again, that can just be one schedule. So if Lynn and I get them daily, every morning at 8 a.m., you can send them to another group of email addresses, perhaps every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that type of thing. So it's very flexible, and you can have as many schedules as you'd like.
So it's really designed to be sent to people outside of the system. So if you've got promoters or people that don't have users for your ticketing system, it's a way to get them the report without you emailing it. So yeah, emphatically, yes, it was really designed to be used for those people that are outside of the system.
Let's see the other ones. Yes, can you schedule a report that sends the day after the event automatically? That's a great suggestion. It doesn't do that right now, but using those features of the time and that type of thing, you could definitely schedule it to go out after the event. That's doable. You would just have to manually do it. It's just not automatic, but that is a great suggestion. I love it.
So it couldn't be sent, you can't continue the date? Like wouldn't?
No, you can't. I'm just saying it's not automatically like,
Gotcha.
oh, the event is over at 7, but you can say send it at 7.
Gotcha. And then we just have at least one person saying that's an awesome feature, so that's great. That is something that we know a lot of people have been waiting and looking for. And that feature, I'll try to do this a little bit as we go, that feature is also available in the new product, so that's not something you would be losing functionality if you were to switch products.
And kind of going along the lines of auto reports, a little while ago, the feature was released to send those automatic email reminders. I'm just going to hop in the marketing tab here just for this performance specific one. However, we just have a couple of enhancements to go over. One, you'll notice it's the Send Now button. So you don't have to try and figure out that trigger time if you'd like to go ahead and use that email for a venue change, a cancellation, a postponement, that type of thing. So you can go ahead and elect just to go ahead and send it at that current time. It's also going to be tracked at the time that it's delivered. So that's definitely very helpful. Especially if you have any sort of promoters or anybody that's wondering the day and the time that it did go out, it's going to go ahead and track your delivery time right there for you.
And Amy, just for those that aren't familiar, maybe not using this feature, who does this send out notices to?
These auto reports, again, I'm here in the performance, but there's also one that you can set site-wide. And what that does is whatever event that it's going out for that specific event, it's going to get everybody's email address that bought tickets for that event and just send them this email. So you can use these as event reminders. If somebody bought a season ticket last year and need to be reminded of an event, it's a great feature. These also can be set up again to go out after the event. So I do know plenty of folks that are using these for thank you for coming or survey type emails, that type of thing. But again, they are going to be used for cancellations, venue changes, reminders, really whatever you'd like, without having to pull information and putting those into your email campaign software.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, well, while I am in the performance here, I'm just going to jump over to the pricing. There's a couple of pricing features that have been added. The first one is going to be a dynamic pricing change, and that is going to be in the automatic price changes section. And now previously you could just have the auto price changes go in, and they were limited per date. So maybe the day of the show or a week before the show, you wanted it to go ahead and schedule that change. The new feature is going to be changing it based on inventory, and it is a percentage. So it's going to go ahead and change those prices just like your auto price changes did previously, but just based on your specific inventory of the amount of tickets that have been sold. So once I click create, I'm sure anybody that uses these auto price changes is going to look very familiar. You would just set up in here what you would like the prices to be after that amount of inventory has been sold. And then while I'm in here, I'm just going to go back here real quick.
So that could be used too, where you say, I want to do a special that I only want to have X number of tickets sell at that price. So, I mean, it's going by percentage, but you could say, I'm going to start the price in this price level at, $30, and then I'm only going to sell 200 of them at that price, and then it's going to jump up.
Actually, this next feature would be a little bit more user-friendly for that specific purpose.
Okay.
Let's go back here.
Oh, we had a question back here.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, we had a question on the last one. I want to send an email to will call buyers to pick up tickets in advance. Is there a way to specify that it just goes to will call? She doesn't want to send just to people who got mail. I don't think so on the auto emails.
No, with the auto email, it's more of just like a set it and forget it, just knowing that everybody's getting that automatic email reminder. It's just going to send it to everybody. For that type of thing, I do know some people that insert it into that reminder. So like if you did buy will call, or if you don't remember, log into your account here type thing, or you can always just pull their information and dump it into an email campaign software.
Thank you.
All right, for the pricing code limits, which is a little bit more what you were talking about, Lynn, I'm going to pop in actually, not that. I need to go back one more here. And it's actually just right down here on the very, very bottom of your pricing tab, and it's your purchase limits. So when I click on that, for example, if you would like your first 100 tickets sold to be a specific promotional price, I'm going to look up that discount code, promo here, for example. I'm going to place in my purchase limit, and then also which price categories I'd like it enabled in. So for example, if it's just your gold price promos, you only want the first 100 tickets to sell. After the 100 tickets have been sold, it actually completely disables the price code. So once promo sells 100, it automatically disables it for you, and no other tickets will be sold at that price. Just goes back to your regular price or whatever your default is set to at that time.
That's fabulous, and that's, you know, something that we've definitely had a lot of need for and a lot of requests for over the years, and that stuff is not easy to write and execute and test, and this is there now as well. Yeah, so that's something that we know a lot of you are going to get, you know, very good use out of. Oftentimes in dealing with shows, that, you know, you want to run discounts, but you don't want to run your whole show at a discount. Right. So you want to run a special. So these are really good to see. Any questions real quick here before we go on to the next features? All right, let's keep moving.
All right, great. And then just a few quick here. This is a little bit longer of a time ago, but I'm not sure if most people know. But we've also added the feature that you can have multiple online order fees. Previously, you could just have the one. But now if you want to set up maybe one that's a little higher or a little lower for just a specific event that you know you maybe can get some additional revenue on, you'll go into the event admin. And now you'll notice that the order fee is now a drop-down. So if I'd like to select my second one here, and then it's normally on my regular online order fee, you would just select that here per event, what you would like the online order fee to be for that specific event. And it looks like my last one here before coming soon is going to be actually something I can't even show you because I don't have it on here because it's a demo site. But we have a new integration with the email campaign software Emma. So what that does is you will set up third party with Emma, have your, Emma train you and get everything all set. You'll have your account set up with them. And then what it does is kind of takes place of you logging in, pulling all that information, dumping it into Emma. It kind of just talks to each other so that all of your ticketing site information is available for you in Emma. It's really great too because I don't know anything about email campaign software or anything, so they can help you with that. They can help you support it and maintain it, come up with new cool things, I'm sure, and help you over there. But then your ticketing information is just going to be automatically available through the integration in your Emma platform.
Great. That's a coming soon feature? Or available right now?
That is available right now. Your client consultant just has to turn it on. And then I actually do have like a special link so that when you sign up with Emma, they know that you're a TicketForce client.
Gotcha. Fabulous. And Amy does a great job of keeping our knowledge base up to date as well. We hate to just tell people, hey, go to the knowledge base. So we're not at you. We don't want to talk to you. That's not the case. But if you do want further details, documentation on things like this so that you can share it with your group, if you just go to the help menu in your ticketing software, that will pull up the knowledge base and articles, PDFs. A lot of times we try to keep it down to one sheet per, oh good, she's logging on. We like to keep it down to one sheet per feature, and that way it's in a very nice format so that you can print it out and you can take a look. So there's the pricing code limits, one of the more recent ones, and you're able to click onto that, print it out, or read it right on the screen. You can ask questions, things like that. We don't have a lot of interaction going on from clients in the knowledge base, but we would love that. Do you monitor the questions in there, Amy, so you get emails when people ask you these questions from here?
I do.
She does. Okay. So feel free to use that as a format as well. We in no way want to take away client interaction or talking to you directly, but a lot of times people do want documentation on a feature. You may get off of this call and forget, you know, exactly what we said on a certain case, or go to implement it in 2 months when you want to do your first pricing. You always have the option to call us and talk with us, but there are those people that like to learn by reading and like to have the printouts as well, so please feel free to use both methods. I was looking to see if we had any questions on that last feature. We do not, so we will continue on.
The last two that I have here are also things I can't show you because they are coming soon. But the first one is going to be a much more cost-effective, I hate the word cheaper, but much more cost-effective scanning module. So it's going to be kind of a cross between how your wireless handheld scanners connect to the ticketing site, and then a USB scanner is directly tethered to the computer. So it's going to be a mix between the two, much more cost effective, hopefully a solution for more folks if the current scanning solution with the wireless handhelds may not be achievable. And then the second one is going to be another thing that we've been waiting to do for a long time, just very, very complicated. But it's going to be your print at homes will be HTML based. So if you want to kind of play around with those and make the template a little more flexible, it's really going to help us out with that. And just as far as the template goes and what we can put on there and what you can put on there and how you can use it, it's just going to expand it a whole lot more.
We've been very limited with that print at home. For sure. So that's something that we're really looking forward to. And again, we can assist with the design work on that as well. Amy, do you know enough yet on the scanning to know, is it going to work with different equipment than the Motorola handhelds? Is that where some of the cost effectiveness is coming in? We're getting is Stephen from Criterion on the call? Because he's been asking for some different equipment on the scanning, as many of you have. The handheld scanners are a big investment. They're durable, they're sturdy, they're industry standard, but we have been getting questions about a cost-effective solution. Is that what it's about? That it be the equipment itself?
Yeah, and you just won't be as limited to, like you said, the one scanner as piece of a wireless, but it's not going to be we're also having to be limited as far as clunking out maybe a laptop or a small notepad with the USB scanner. So yeah, a little more cost effective for you. I'm done.
So that's the newest features that we wanted to just highlight for you. There's many more, and again, if you want to find those, I heard two things to recap that they would have to call you to have turned on. That would be the streamlined checkout and the Emma email integration. Everything else is there for them. Did we get that right? Okay. Fabulous. And before we move on to the new enterprise product, a quick overview there. Are there any questions or even anything that you would like to see in the product that something spurred your mind right now? So go ahead and type in that question panel if you have anything, and we're happy to take some questions right now on on anything new that you'd like to see or that you're not sure is there, or anything on the direction of the product. What if my question panel is full? I don't see anything. Well, what we like to do here, and the way we don't just make up things to fill up product meetings, we really do bring things we hear from you, and we're very heavily in the market as well. Those of you that may not know or how familiar with TicketForce you are, we do run ticketing out of our office here every day. So we do have call center. We're dealing with ticket buyers the same way that you are. We are building events. We are reconciling with promoters. So we give a lot of I think a lot of our feedback is our own as well. But when we hear things from you, we love to bring those. Amy sits on a panel of product people, and we're able to talk through something that she hears from you to say, this is a lot of people are asking for this. Some of your requests might be what we call one-offs, but you don't know that until you bring them up. And so it's really been a nice way to keep things on a map and keep things moving forward and develop a product that makes sense to people. I'm always telling this story of the guy that said, you know, I'm so tired of developing things that nobody uses. So we want you to use the new features. We hope they're meaningful to you. Thank you. Lucas just got on and said these changes are excellent. Some of them are yours for sure, Lucas, as well. So I think it's really fun to be able to see things that you've brought to our attention, and at some point all the way through what it takes to develop software. It's got to work in the existing product and the framework. We have to scope it. We have to decide how many hours it's going to take to write that. Then there's a testing implementation phase. You have to make sure that things don't break other functions that are going on. So, you know, a lot of times when you're a user of software, you don't think about all those things. So we love the product team. We think it's really doing an excellent job, and Amy working with Valerie on that is working out really well, and we're seeing a lot of good changes, more to come. So keep an eye on the emails. If you don't think you're getting them, please let us know. So we're going to swap over, Amy, to about 3 features that we're going to talk about on the enterprise product. And I'll talk while she's getting in there a little bit about the structure of the product. We sort of call it best of both worlds. What all of you have now, again, aside from those clients, if you work with Anita and Chris and they build your events for you, then you are on what we call our agency solution. But the rest of you have your own ticketing system. Essentially, we have 100 ticketing systems to manage. Each one of our venues or clients represents a different, essentially, installation. And that came at a time when we put this product to market that people were saying, hey, I would like to bring ticketing from an agency like Ticketmaster and bring it in and control the ticketing in-house. So we call it in-house ticketing, or we call it private label or white label ticketing. Those phrases all mean that you are having a direct relationship with your buyer. Your ticketing page where people buy is branded for you. You have full control of your database, and you build everything there, and you're sort of this entity unto yourself as far as ticketing goes. And that's been working really well, and it will continue to work well for some clients. But what we've seen is a real need for a bigger marketing footprint, if we would say, for some people. When you have your own website out there, and that's where all your ticketing happens, it becomes your job to get people to that page and to control how people come in to that website, and that all becomes up to you. And 5 years ago, you just had to email people and tell them where the site was or put a radio ad out. It's getting a little trickier now. Your page needs to be optimized for search engine. They call that SEO. There's a lot of tags and things that people are having to put on their pages to track their marketing. You might be doing digital ads with Facebook and Twitter and Google Click ads, and you want to find out what's really working, and it's become really challenging for a lot of venues to manage that well and manage it on their own. So then maybe they're hiring digital marketing agencies, paying a lot of money. all of those things. And it comes back to the one advantage that the agency really has is that there's a large marketing footprint, and it's much easier to draw people to a site that has a lot of traffic, such as Ticketmaster's site. That's been their only real claim to fame, and their only thing that they really have is they say, well, we've got all this marketing power because we're selling all these tickets from all over the world on one site. So we sort of have gone looking for something that would retain what people love about in-house ticketing. My brand is front and center. I have full control of my database, all of those things that are really important, and the merchant processing, frankly. Those are the three things that in-house ticketing gives you that we know you're not going to want to give up. And so what we found with the enterprise product is a way to bring you those three things and add to that a marketing footprint of one big site as an option for you. So what that means is your tickets could be on sale at a TicketForce.com that will grow to become something that has a lot more traffic as we build this out, so that you're not just left in your little corner of the world in South Bend, Indiana, Morris Center, just trying to get people to your site with no benefit of anybody bringing people to you. So the enterprise product is one large product that will service everybody. And there will be a TicketForce brand page that we can bring people to. But while it does that, and we will have a digital marketing team then that will execute campaigns and marketing and all those types of things to get people to your events and help you sell more tickets, which is the goal. While we do that, we will still build for you a white label page exactly like what you have now. You can have your own merchant account just the same way that you do right now, and you have full control of your database and your data, just like you have now. So we're calling that the best of both worlds. It is an enterprise product, so as far as the building of events and seat maps, there is an event studio for you, and if you've got good computer skills, you're going to be fine doing that, and you can do a lot of the edits yourself quickly. But a lot of the configuration, the things that we do in the beginning, we're going to be doing for you. So we're going to be working actually more closely with you rather than have you sort of be 80 little islands out there or 100 little islands all on your own. So that's a snapshot of the structure of the product. And really, you won't notice a difference in your brand and all of that being really front and center, but you'll be able to take advantage of things like there's going to be a TicketForce app that people can download and you can interact. We can skin that app for you, or you can just have it be the TicketForce app as well. And you'll be able to buy marketing for a really reasonable cost to say, you know, you want to take over the TicketForce homepage because we've got all this traffic that maybe you don't have, and you're announcing Louis C.K. and you want to put that on the front of our page. So that's something to look for, and you'll see a lot of that explained and shown to you visually in the webinar. So that's the overview. Hopefully, I made it more clear instead of muddier. But it is a best of both worlds type of scenario that we're after. Now we're going to look at about 3 features. So Amy's going to go ahead and share her screen here. And we're going to talk a bit about some CRM functionality. Now this is one thing. CRM has meant a lot of things to a lot of people in the last little bit. Really what it means is data management tools so that you can really drill down and look at your data. We have fabulous data for you in the current ticketing system, but we don't currently have something that really feels like CRM. So Amy's going to go ahead and jump into our sandbox site here so that you can take a look. If you want to scroll down just so we have Nicole right at the top there. So, and if I forget something, unmute yourself and jump in if you would. Okay. So you're looking at basically a landing page for an individual patron. So this is what you can see rather than things being sort of hidden on different tabs. You've got a nice clean look here, and you can really get into the page. My bar is I'm going to shrink that. So Amy, if you can keep an eye out for questions, that would be great. So scroll back up there to the top. You'll see that you've got you know, the basics of Nicole. Well, right away you'll notice things like gender that we don't have in our current as more of a CRM type of functionality, and date of birth, those types of things, and a business name to connect her to. You'll immediately see Nicole's membership deals as you scroll down, what her details are. You can also see through the integrated email marketing program what list she's subscribed to, and that's important. A quick glance at how long has this person had their membership. And this, again, when I'm talking membership, I'm talking about those of you that use the membership functionality. It's usually something that's annual and related to really being a loyal patron. What I really like here that a lot of people have asked about, however, is the sub-accounts. So you're able to have Nicole have an account and have a sub-account that might be a spouse or a child, and they can all be connected under one parent account here. So Amy, you can click in there to maybe look at the 4 accounts that are in there so we can get a glance. And correct me if I get something wrong. I think my understanding is pretty good. So now you can see that you've got probably a spouse and 2 children listed on Nicole's file. And why is that important? Well, let's say that you have a membership that Nicole has purchased, and then her husband James wants to buy tickets under that membership. This allows that to happen, and you can set up the memberships either way. You can set them up so they can't be shared. You can also set them up so they can be shared. In our current system, each person, Nicole and James, would have to be 2 completely separate files. Is that correct, right?
Yes, and they actually already even have their own too.
Okay.
Like right here on the left-hand side,
I see that.
They still have their own separate ticket buyer history, order history, transaction history, and activity. They just are all on the same membership in a sense.
Right, and so that is something that a lot of people, especially in the nonprofit sector or in the sports sector where you're dealing with a lot of season ticket holders and you want to be able to connect and know that these records are in some way connected while still having them a little bit separate. So that's a very much of a CRM function, as I call it, so that you can have records that are connected. Let's go back to that landing page, the profile page. The contact deals, that's pretty similar to what we have now. Where we really get into other CRM functionalities have to do with keeping notes and keeping track, whether I'm calling my season ticket holders or I'm using this as a donor database and I need to track my contact with these people. I can really do that. If I get into the notes, I believe that's, and if I get this wrong, Amy, let me know. But you can really see all of the notes here together without opening them up separately, and you can look at the start date and end date of when they were created as well. Can you get us to the page where we would schedule out, I want to call her on a certain day. Do you know where that is?
Required here.
Oh, is that where that is? Okay, so why don't you walk through that real quick? To get rid of all these other windows on your...
All of them.
Our screens are a little crazy.
It's like little Lynn.
Yeah.
All right, so I would, if I wanted to associate an action with a specific note, I would click Action Required, and I would find my date. So on August 15th, well, so 4 months ago, I would have needed to call this person. But I would essentially get an email alert.
Okay. So yeah, this is where you can schedule out. You can say, I left a voicemail for Nicole, asking her if she wanted to renew her tickets, and I want to make sure I call her or email her again on a certain date. And this is where I can set that up. So again, that's a pretty basic CRM function. So if you're looking for a truly robust Salesforce big CRM, which I would tend to say are going to be for organizations of 20 to 25 employees or more, having a team of 6 or 8 people that are doing either season ticket sales for you or doing fundraising for you. There is an integration already written in there. There's a full API with Salesforce, so that's an option with the new product. But this piece right here is going to service many of our clients with some CRM functionality and some built-in email that we've really been asking for and looking for. So we can close out of that page. And I want to look at the marketing communication down at the bottom there yet. So we've got, there's an integrated email program, which we'll get to here in a second. And what that means is there is an email campaign manager that's built right into the product so that without an outside integration. So the option on the current product is to have an Emma account and have an integration with Emma. It's a good solution. And this product has actually a built-in campaign manager. So again, you know, sometimes that may be more limited than what you can do with a full-on email external program. You could continue to use that, but we can have templates residing in the campaign manager, which we'll get to here, and then things become a little more trackable. So let's go into the marketing communication and hit that view, and you can also just block them from getting any communication there too. You can see that on the do not contact. So I believe there are 3 ways that people can say or become part of a marketing list, and it really works in a CRM way where you have marketing lists built. One way is you can go in and assign them to certain preferences. Maybe you got off the phone with somebody and they said, you know, I love your family shows. Please make sure I'm on that list. You could come in here and update Nicole's record to say, Nicole wants to hear about all the family shows that we're doing. Nicole can also go into her own account and mark the categories that are available. She can say herself, I want to hear about these types of concerts or this type of rock or classical or exhibits or whatever it is. So the patron has their own ability to say what they want to hear about through email campaigns, and they can do that on their online account. Or you can mark it and say, I want to make sure this person gets every donation ask that I'm doing, and put that there. They can also subscribe online, so that's part of what's happening here. Is, you know, you can see the different subscriptions that they have, but it also will put them into marketing lists based on what they buy. So they will be dumped into a classical music marketing list just because of what they bought. So that allows you to build lists out without really doing anything at all. You currently have that functionality with your event categories, but you know, there are a lot of ticketing systems, and you know, Ticketmaster included, where they're not really building lists. You're building a separate list for every show rather than compiling. So this builds a marketing list for you as you go and as you build out your system. I miss anything there? No, good. And we'll take the questions on this at the end. So that's a glimpse. Is there anything else on here? I want to show the order just in case some of my friends that do not love the way. One of the frustrations that we've seen is if you're if I want to look up Amy or Nicole, as it is today, and I want to say, you know, what kind of stuff is Amy? I just got off the phone with her. She's really great. She just gave us a couple $100 for our holiday campaign. How many shows is Amy buying? Our current order lookup with the patrons, the result of that order, as you may know, is a list of order numbers with very little detail on the screen. So you're free to click open and look at that, but you've got to kind of do that. So this is a glance that I think a lot of people are going to love. And again, this is a built-in integrated CRM function here. I can see the order number, I can see the date, I can see the cost of the order, and I can actually see what that event was. I can see that Nicole went to John Bon Jovi and Sting and AC/DC. Wow, she's, yes, variety of taste there, yeah. So you can see the order, you can see the details right there without having to go in and do any digger deeping. So deeper digging, digger deeping. I can hear the office laughing. It's great. It's Friday, man. It is. We have been talking a lot this week, but you can get a real nice glance here without opening a report, without searching, without having to click and open orders. This again is what a CRM in ticketing really means to me, is to be able to get a good overview and take a look at that. So there's much more here, but I wanted to give you a glance at some of the things that I know a lot of our clients that are looking for some basic CRM functionality to be built in with their product, and here you go. Let's go ahead and finish out. I think the rest is on the slides. Stay tuned because we are announcing the winner of our Surface 3 and a couple of Amazon gift cards at the end. You do not have to be present to win, I don't think.
I would hope not.
I mean, even, you know, web presence. We're going to take a quick look. Now, the stage that we're at with the new product right now is we are just ready to launch, but we have no data. So if we go to our Insight database, there's nothing to show you. So it's not interesting at all. But I want to give you a glimpse of what the reporting can look like. Now, the back-end reporting, where you're pulling reports that are going to be in Excel or whatever that you're balancing with, that you're looking, all pretty much the same as what you have now. Very flexible, actually a bit more ability to customize and pull how you want to and do them more in an ad hoc fashion. But what we found that people really want, really need, is a dashboard reporting that's built into the system, and that's where Insight comes in. So this is dashboard reporting that is incredibly flexible, and you can see the phone there is indicating that it also is mobile optimized for your phone or your tablet. So you can give watch lists, as we call them, to your promoters, same as you do now, maybe with the promoter login. You can have, if you're the venue manager and you want your watch list to be everything, you can do that. You can have multiple watch lists. So what you see there right under, if you can use your pointer to kind of show where the watch list is, this is a drop-down window where you'll be able to have as many watch lists as you like that you want to keep track of. So some people like to look at comparisons, like what do I have some shows that are external promoters, some that are co-pros, some that I'm promoting internally. You could build your watch list out that way just so that you could have a quick dashboard view of how those shows are doing over time. And then anything you love on here is exportable very quickly. But it's really built to be a dashboard and a quick view for you. So we've blurred out the names here, but you can see it's generally giving you on this watch list a sales summary. There's about 4 events here, and you can see as you work left to right what has sold today. Dibs is what are in shopping carts right now, and that's an important number when you've got a big on sale going on. What is available, what the total is, and then it gets into dollars, total that you've sold today and total all time. Now that last column on the right, if you can kind of mouse over that, you've got a little people and an active, and that means active users on that event right now. So you can even see this before an event goes on sale. So imagine when you've said, you know, we're going to do 2 nights of comedy, and you're getting ready to go on sale, and you start watching this, you know, an hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes prior, and you see tens of thousands of people waiting to buy that event. We see promoters making decisions then based on what they're seeing here, and either saying, we've got to add another show. The promoter and artist can be watching this as well, because you can give them login, and you can really take a look and see what's going on. You might change your pricing based on what you see there. You might want to be checking, following up instantly because you just did an ad campaign to see, did that bring more people in? Of course, you'll have the actual data later, but this is fun to see. You can see the full seat status. So if you go down to the bottom row there, the seat status is going to show you again, and all of this can be changed from summary to detail. We've just got this default view up here right now, but there's drop-down menus all over. So you can just play with this dashboard without having to program and do a bunch of complexities. But you've got, again, available for this event. She's showing you can export that to CSV easily. You'll see again available, comps, holds, sales, reserved, and then the invite a friend category, which is the really cool feature where I can choose as a patron to hold seats for people next to me. You want to go to the show, Amy?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. I thought you, yeah, I do. So if you want to see that full invite a friend feature, that is on the full webinar that we did for this product in great detail. Again, you can see moving over a column, ticks sold today by channel. What am I doing on mobile? What am I doing on web? You know, Google Analytics has great detail, but it's not super friendly. And if you're a master in there, I applaud you, that's great, and it's got some dashboards once you know how to work it. This kind of makes it so you don't have to go tromping into Google Analytics, because you can definitely see who's buying where. Again, you don't have to pull a report. This is dashboard reporting, you know, at its very best. The far right, you'll see a map of not our country, but this is a Ticketek dashboard based in Australia, so you can actually see a heat map. Ours will show the United States and Canada, and you'll be able to see a heat map of where people are at on your watch list and where the ticket sales are actually coming from, what location. So good detailed information. Again, all this translates to the phone. So that's a quick glance. Did we have one more, basically email marketing? Great. So the built-in campaign manager is here for you, and we've got just a quick screenshot of that. We're kind of showing you what perhaps the emails can look like. But as you can see, you can build draft campaigns. You can see campaigns that you've already sent. You can have templates that are built in there. So basically, your data is residing in here. You don't have to extract. You can just come in here, have a template, and we'll help you build that when we're setting up the campaign manager for you. And you can have that template in there ready to go. If you're an HTML coder, have at it, write your own. That would be great too. But for most of us, we're going to have one or two templates in there. And then you'll be able to see how the campaign did. This is very similar to much of the email software that you're probably using right now. So there is an add-on cost to use this product. We'll scale that annually for you most likely, or have a monthly fee. We're going to try to keep it very reasonable and similar to what you might be paying with Emma or MailChimp or any of those programs that you're using. But we will also be able to execute campaigns out of here for you. So when you talk about the shared marketing footprint, we'll be able to execute TicketForce campaigns from here, and you'll also be able to see how those are doing for your buyers. So those are three quick features I just wanted to let you know that I think are going to be of importance for a lot of people. The CRM functionality, the campaign manager, and the insight. Yes, and those are really robust, amazing features that we love. Now, I'm pretty sure we're going to have some questions before we close out today. So let's take a look. Feel free to type in there. All right. Any news on when you might have a full view seat map available? You can answer that for the current platform. That is how the new platform is built, but I know, Kathleen, you don't want to think about that right now. Just having launched and been very happy with your current. Amy, do you have an idea on that for the current product?
It's definitely on the roadmap. As we mentioned earlier, though, it just takes quite a bit of time because it is a pretty big core change of how the actual box office interface is set up. But it's definitely something we've been working on for a long time now, so it's coming.
Chris is saying, going to save a lot of time. That's all I can see. Is there another part to that?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. Great, Chris. I'm glad to hear that. Any other questions?
There's two more.
Okay. When will Campaign Manager come online? It will have the capabilities for recurring payments with donors. Yes. On the new product, there are recurring payments that are built into that. And the Campaign Manager is part of the new product as well. So both of those would be answered for you with the new product. And again, I'll kind of give you what to do if you're interested in taking a closer look at that in the weeks and months ahead. Anything else?
I don't.
Okay. Go ahead and keep typing if you like, but I want to respect your time and get you back to work, back to selling tickets, and back to almost the weekend. I'm going to go ahead and announce the winners today of the Surface 3 is Mr. Jeff Weber from the Kellogg Arena. Congratulations, Jeff. That's going to be getting shipped out to you. The Amazon card number 1 is Penny Kaysen from Prescott Frontier Days Rodeo. Congratulations to Penny on the Amazon $50 gift card. And the Amazon $25 gift card is going to Dana Ballard at the Point Casino. So, wow, we had some new clients as big winners there. Congratulations. It was a random drawing. And so congrats to all of you. And we just want to thank you again. Do we have more questions before we close out?
A perfect closing question, actually.
Oh, and Penny just heard that she won. So, yay. Is there a way to watch the webinar again? Yep, just because you're registered, you will get a link that will be emailed out to you by the marketing team. Maybe not today, but definitely by Monday. And it'll link. And you can also just take a look on our YouTube channel. So you go to youtube.com and you put in TicketForce in the search, and all of the webinars are there, including past webinars that we've done with product updates, webinars that we've done for the new product as well. So is that it for questions?
We had one more, but I didn't know if you wanted to just answer them later.
Okay, let me take a look. Where is it? All the way. Campaign Manager is an add-on. Yes, Dawn, it's an add-on for TicketForce. So what we were looking at there was, because we don't have any data in our current product, it will be an add-on for TicketForce on the new enterprise product. It is built in and integrated, and it'll just be an additional monthly or annual fee that you would pay to execute your email campaigns out of the Campaign Manager. Cool. And it will be very comparable to what you might pay for another product like that.
And you can upload.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's really great because you can basically replace your email marketing software because you can upload other lists. So if you have lists of donors or people that are not in your database that's residing in the ticketing system, you can upload lists just to send emails out to them. To build whatever marketing list you like. So that works really well. Hey, thanks everybody. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Amy. And we hope that you've had a great week with us. Maybe by next year, they'll have the technology so that we can see all of your faces. But it's been really great to interact with you in this way. And we are working on our 2017 client visit schedule, meaning that we do our very best to get to you, whether it's at a conference or at your venue live. So we want to make sure that we are able to meet as many of you as possible, take you to dinner, to lunch, buy you a drink, whatever works. So please keep an eye out for that as we hit that hard for 2017, because there's many of you, this year seems to have gone by in a blur, and we know we've missed some of you this year. So we want to make sure we see you, meet you face to face. Please let us know when you're at any conference at all so that we can get with you and certainly get your questions answered. Now, finally, if you are interested in taking a closer look at the new enterprise product, this is actually a good time towards the end of the year here to do that. You can simply email your client rep, or you can email Amy at TicketForce. It's AMI at TicketForce.com, and we'll get you scheduled to do a walkthrough so that you can kind of get an idea of what might be better for you. And then we are starting on our rollout schedule for 2017. So it does take some time, so be patient, but we are confident that we can. I think we're looking at it probably a 60-day process for those of you, but I know it's early for some of you to be thinking about that. So I think that's it.
I think so.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, all of you. It's been really wonderful being with you. I'm going to miss you next week. So have a great Friday, great weekend, and a great holiday season. Enjoy Thanksgiving next week. And Canada already had yours, so
I think, right?
Yeah, they already had their Thanksgiving. Yep. So happy past Thanksgiving, Canada. We love you guys. We are closed next Thursday and Friday for the holiday support line, always open. And again, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Bye.